Alright, hello everyone. Um, Welcome to a very impromptu um, commentary stream that I felt like doing. Um, so today we've got our clan, BS, warring against the French clan, Hyenes, or Hyenes, I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it. Um, so we've just joined at the start of them doing bans, so we can see, getting right into it, that the French clan here have banned Assembly, Deep Sea, and Out of Time. And then BS have banned Mines, Cove, and Tiger Temple. Now, while we've got a bit of a wait while the French team pick their first track, my name's Drask, of course. With me is the lovely Mushi, joining me for commentary today. Say
Hello,
hello.
guys.
So, hopefully the two of us will be able to get some spicy commentary for you. So,
Hopefully, there'll be a lot of power items.
especially on a track like Drive Through. I mean, Engine Labs and Mystery Caves. I feel like Caves especially, I see a lot of power items, especially recently. So we see first pick is Drive Through, followed by Mystery Caves and Engine Labs, the latter two by BS. Then the French team have done Cortex Castle and Polar Pass as their second and third pick. So pretty, for personal taste, I think it's pretty decent track picks all around so far. We see BS now picking Slide Coliseum and Electron Avenue. So we'll see what the final three picks are going to be. Also, hello, Greg. Also, got the Joyride pick here by the French team. We'll see what their final pick's going to be. Yonglebooge. Nice. And Oxide Station to round it off.
Ooh.
Got some interesting track picks today. Excited to see this one. No Poppy's Pyramid though. I am sad. So yeah, well, I'll draft the track list really quick onto the stream. While I do that, what are your thoughts on the track picks, Mushi? Any track?
I approve all of them except for Slide, but this is a pretty good track list.
I think it's going to be interesting to see. We especially aren't sure on the French team's strengths, and I know BS aren't as a whole, so their bans were kind of tracks they don't want to pick, or you know, tracks that they felt that they might do worse on in general. And I think the same is pretty similar for the French team. Picking Drive Through and Cortex, they're both generally pretty decent tracks for BS for the most part. So I think it's kind of like the NF commentary Hanks and I did just recently, where the bands feel more like suited to the teams just not wanting to play that track rather than banning to like hinder the other team. Especially leaving a track like Electron open against people like Orman and Shadow.
I was expecting Electron to be banned, honestly.
I mean, the other thing is going the other way for BS with a potential downfall is picking Slide is great for is fantastic for Hellat, of course, but if the French team know Pulsewood, then that's going to give them a massive advantage doing SE Pulsewood on Slide, considering the 4 BS members playing aren't proficient in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, stream. So here is the current lineup on the right. So for Bapey squad, we've got A Shadow, Orman, Tam, and Helado. and I'm going to completely butcher every name because I don't know these people,
And
unfortunately. But we've got
and
Fedo, Kaizaku, Floxy, Vendetta, Bellet, and Firekeeper for the French team. So we'll see how often the French team sub out, because they had planned from the start to have the 6. So I'm curious if they've got certain track strengths or if they're just going to do a flat 5 races or something. It's going to be a interesting situation with hosting. We were discussing it before the stream went live, because technically Tam's the most central host within Europe between everyone, but she has the worst upload. The French team are all going to be subbing out, so they weren't keen to host themselves for obvious reasons there. Which leaves Helad with a solid internet connection, but he DCs, or Orman, whose internet connection can be good or garbage. So praying, I believe they're going with Orman's host, so praying that it holds out, because then they'll have a great solid host for the whole time. But this is Orman, so we'll see. And we can see on the we've got the POVs up. You can see that Fedo on the right there is they're just in matchmaking while they wait. Don't blame them to get some warm up while they get the lobby set up. Something interesting will be whether the streamers sub out or not. Because obviously, if we have the streamer sub out, kind of not going to have a POV for that team. So luckily we have two. Luckily we have 2 from BS. So if worse comes to worse, we can use the double POV we have now with just with the BS views. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it'll be an issue in the end. But we'll see. Alright, Fedo doing sandbagging to the extreme in his matchmaking lobby while we wait for the setup. Alright, we should have the lobby lined up soon. I'm just confirming who their front row is for the host. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a classic CTR war without some good old stalling. Alright, well this gives me a good opportunity to figure out this desync. Alright, stream. Hello, Chugo, what's going on? I'm just hoping to sort out this slight communication issue that seems to be happening. Alright, I'll leave you guys with the music and some POVs. Just need to jump over to another call, so I'm going to mute us for a little bit, but we'll be back soon, stream. As soon as we get the lobby started, we'll jump straight back into the commentary. Alright, we're back. We've got it all sorted. So, one of the, so we've only got a few POVs because the French team are subbing out, so I'm going to stick with the 2 POVs for now. And if I get all 4 at one stage, I will swap to that POV. But for now, I'm going to stick with the double, and we'll see how that goes. Alright. Alright, race 1 of this war. So we've got drive through danger coming up. Yeah?
I can't see anything.
Ah, no worries, I can fix that for you. But yeah, we've got the first one coming up, so we'll see how this goes. There you go, Mush.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries. Alright, so we see Tam's got a bit of delay there. I'm just going to fix that. But we do see that Kaizoku straight up, coming up to the bug zapper, has died, so he has lost his fire. We've got Shadow taking a bit of an early break here on the end of lap 1. Does have one of the French team on his tail. Hellad right behind them though. So it's looking like a bit of a chaotic lap 1.
A little bit too chaotic.
Mildly. Alright, adding a bit of delay there. Alright, so we can see our 2 streamers are in 5th and 6th, both in 5th at this stage, with a bit of delay. So they're both in the middle of the pack, so as we can still see, we've got a few of the people in front breaking away. Top 4 have kind of got a bit of a lead over the bottom 4, with the Megumi, who might be Hellad, given that's a skin he plays. Falling a bit behind compared to everyone else, so a little bit of a concern as to whether they're going to be able to catch up without the use of a power item. But everyone else is not too far apart. We do see Tam falling a little far behind alongside a Polar there. Kaizoku doing his best to try and catch up to the top 4, and it looks like there was a clock there.
Ooh.
So Kaizoku with the dodge there allows him to pass up into 4th. Looks like he's catching up to Orman now, who doesn't seem to have dodged.
Oh, Tam has a clock.
Oh, yeah, Tam has her own clock now, you're correct. So we'll see how she plays this one out. We don't know whether Orman and Shadow, who are top 2, have protection, and top 2 is winning positions, if only by a little bit. So they're positions that BS are wanting to prioritize keeping. So maybe Kaizoku kills one of them, and that's when Tam decides to throw the clock. Or maybe they'll both roll shields, but we'll see.
It does look like Kaizoku is catching up pretty quickly.
Yeah, Kaizoku with the very solid lines here. Orman doesn't have bad lines here himself, but... Oh, Orman gets taken out, and Kaizoku passes with a shield, so only Shadow up the front there, and I presume he doesn't have a shield, given that Tam hasn't used the clock. But first and second are looking pretty set at this point. Orman has quite a... Oh! As I say that, Kaizoku loses his shield and hits a Nitro, so looks like, yeah, Orman with a shield tackles Kaizoku and takes back second. So now it's looking like an extremely strong start from BS. First
Looks
and
like
second.
Tam is bound. Tam can't catch back up. Now
Yeah.
she's 4th.
4th and uses the clock in 4th. I do apologize for the delay. I will try and fix that. But yeah, that was an incredibly strong start there by BS. So Hellad unfortunately falling into the clutches of the French team there, coming in 7th, but the rest of BS actually managed to pull away. and got a 1-2-4. Alright, I will just update our scores. And get the music ready. Oh, so a bit of an interesting first race. 2 clocks in the first race, 0 orbs. So I think even just being in commentary, Mushi, you're causing the power items to appear.
I'm just there in spirit there. Resolved.
Now I'm noticing that instead of Firekeeper, it looks like they have someone called Tobin, who I've not heard of them before, but getting 6th place in this race, so we'll see how they go through the rest of it. So looking like currently, oh, they're starting their next race. Alright. Updated scores here. So, the current French lineup is Kaizoku, Vendetta, Tobin, and Belette. We'll see when the other 2 sub in, but for now we'll just have these 2 POVs. Alright, Caves is going to be an interesting one. We'll see how it ends up panning out for both teams. I always find it interesting because going wide to get an item here, and if you get a turbo canister, can put you decently far back compared to other tracks when you go for an item, compared to taking the shortcut and getting a decent one. So, can be a bit of a risk going for that item, especially if you have, you know, several team members going for that item. Because if
It can also be the same thing where everyone goes tight and get car collisioned.
yeah, and that can be both positive and negative. We've seen it where people get collisioned forward and get collisioned into the floor. So Kaizoku's still a little bit ahead. I've got a fierce delay on time stream, but that's okay. This should put it more in line. Alright, starting off, we see that Kaizoku has gone tight here, as has Tam. So looking at the minimap, everyone is pretty closely bunched together. Tam getting a bomb, which can be very good. We'll see what she can do with it. Kaizoku successfully beakering Shadow to start off, so Kaizoku getting an early break, which is just what the French team need right now. And looking like
Orman got hit.
Yeah, Orman got taken out. Not too sure by what, but we do see that Shadow got beaked again, so Tam's looking like the lone BS member in the top 3. Looking like it's still an incredibly close pack outside of the fact that Orman and Helad in particular have fallen a little far behind. But we'll see how it goes, early days.
Oh no.
Tam missiled in the shortcut. That's a terrible place to get hit because being in the off-road, you're moving slower in off-road as you'd expect, so a lot harder to recover compared to being on normal road.
I believe the French team has top 4 right now, if I recall.
They do. So not looking good for BS this race. So, oh, but they have an orb in 6th. So it looks like that was Orman's orb, and we'll see. Looks like it has helped, especially Shadow and Orman catch back up. So Kaizoku was unaffected. Still maintains a very nice lead here, and gets a shield. Meanwhile, we see
another rare.
Yeah, he's raring. So can see Tam just earlier was cleaving through at least one of the French team with a mask. Let's put them back into 8th, so we'll see where it pans out. It's looking a lot more even now. Shadow slowly catching Kaizoku, it looks like. It's still a bit of a distance though, so not sure if Shadow, even with superior lines, could bridge that gap in 2 laps. Tam missiling one of the French team, tries for the double missile, but juiced missiles on uphill sometime phase into the floor, because this is a good game, which is just what happened to Tam.
Oh.
And we see that Shadow actually did catch right up, but it looks like it was intentional. Kaizoku taking off Shadow's shield and bombing him, so a really nice play there by Kaizoku to get Shadow off his tail. Again, it hasn't set Shadow back too much, although it looks like he may have hit, I'm not sure if he hit that Nitro. If
Oh
that
no,
was
Orman
desync.
got hit. Wait, never mind. No, that was just desync.
It can be a little hard to tell sometimes with the desync with everyone flashing red, but
Oh no, Shadow got hit.
But yeah, you can see on the minimap that second through about fifth is incredibly close together. First doesn't even have that big of a break, but on caves that is enough to stay ahead, especially when you have a shield. So anywhere second to fifth could change at any time. Hellad in the back in sixth, trying to hold back seventh and eighth. So we'll see how well he does that, but seventh and eighth have the advantageous item rolls there. And speaking of, bottom two get a clock. So Hellad got taken out there and he's right behind them. Looks like it didn't affect Kaizoku too much. He kept his first. Looking like a top two here for the French team. Get a 3-4-5 for BS here. We'll see whether Hellad is going to come in or if he's going to stay in 8th. And the French team successfully hold Hellad back to 8th, so prevent BS from getting too much, minimizing the loss by too much. So looking like the French team with 1-2-6-7 and BS with 3-4-5-8. So the gap is very close now. So after just 2 races, it is looking like 4-point difference.
Oh wow.
So incredibly close so far, but as I always say, it's early days, so anything could happen. So both teams have had a decent sized win now. So third track is Engine Labs, which is a it can turn into one of those tracks where everyone rolls a shield and it's a time trial, but we'll see. We've had some very chaotic Engine Labs on this stream. So I wonder if we're going to get another one of those today. Looking like they might be doing...
subbing out.
Yeah, looking like we're doing some subbing now. So if Fedo is playing, I can swap to the 4-person POV. Got some strategical subs going on. Fedo is playing, so I will quickly double check the 4-way stream. Now, unfortunately, I've only synced up the 2 streams, so the 4-way stream might have a bit of an issue. But I will do my best. And it looks like Floxy is the other one jumping in now. So we can see that these two down here are very far ahead. Alright, I'll swap the music over now. We'll see how close together these are. Hopefully they're decently close. We'll see. Alright. Starting off, now we have 4 busy POVs here. We'll see how many people are going tight. Seeing a bit of chaos. Orman getting beakered by Fedo here. Helad getting a TNT and a beaker. So a pretty rough start for him. But we're seeing both Tam, Fedo and Kaizoku are all holding the front here. So none of them have an item, so it's all up to these next item set to see who can take down who. 2 against 1, unfortunately, it's looking like. Oh, well it is now, because Orman, who just appeared, got taken out. So we see an engine in the back, which might be Floxy, I'm not too sure. Has fallen a bit far behind, but along with a Papu, but lap 1, so plenty of time for them to come back. We see Tam here with a shield, though.
Ooh.
Kaizoku on top of her tries to bomb the shield off, but fails. Tam with a nitro under the shield, which is unfortunate. So we'll see what
I think it'd be
plan
better
is.
if Fedo will slow down just a bit.
Yeah. Oh, so Kaizoku, sorry, successfully taking off the shield, but Tam nitros Kaizoku right in the face there. So.
And Tam gets another
Oh,
shield.
I am just noticing.
Oh no, and Hela gets shield tackled.
Alright, we have a duplicate stream. For some reason, Fedo's has not appeared. I don't believe.
Fedo and Kai both have shields, and Tam has another shield underneath, so...
Yes, as I thought. So the left 2 are both actually Kaizoku. For some reason, my OBS has messed that up. That is on me. But we have 3
Okay,
POVs.
Kaizoku just threw his shield. I don't know why, but he has another shield, so...
All I can do is hide that one.
And Hela... Oh, wait. Oh, all POVs have shields.
Yeah, so
See,
this
Hela
is
has
turning
a
into the...
beaker.
And Tam has double shield. So it's looking like Kaizoku is catching right up to Helad here, which not surprising seeing the lines we've been seeing from Kaizoku here, and he does get the shield tackle off. Whether he's gonna squish, oh, Helad does get the beaker off, but the iframes protected Kaizoku, who then gets the squish on Helad. So unfortunate for Helad there, but a really nice play by Kaizoku. So we're seeing that Tam and Shadow, if we're looking at the front here, they've actually got a pretty decent break, especially given Tam has a double shield. So honestly, first is completely set here. Shadow, unsure if he has a shield, but I definitely think that he'll hold second with that big of a distance. Orman in third there, doing a very good job. So we see Kaizoku doing his best to catch up to Orman. He is catching up, but this is lap 5 and Orman has a shield, so I don't know if there's much that the French team can do to take away this top 3, unfortunately for them. So we see Helad in the back in 7th, so the best it seems like they might be able to do at this point is to really ankle bite Helad into 8th to minimize the point gain here for BS.
Well, Hela... Asako, he sure does. He's holding 6.
Oh, he's gone up to 6th, so nice job by Helad there, being caught in the crowd, but managing 6th overall. Now, I am just going to figure out why Fedo stream is magically gone. Because instead we have double Kaizoku. Alright, I will quickly do scores, and then I will put my 2 AM brain to use. Or 3 AM, whatever time it is right now. So, as we saw, top 3 for BS here, and 6th. So a very nice, very large win there. And then 4, 5, 7, 8 for the French team. Floxy with the 4, and Baylet with... Alright, so it's a 19-point difference at this stage. In BS's favor. Alright, just gonna pull up Fedor's actual stream with luck. Ah, I see what happened. I did have his stream up, but he's gone offline. So that's unfortunate that we're not going to actually have... We're only going to have the 3 POVs, so... What I can do... Funny thing is, I knew I double checked it, but it was understandable why this happened now. So I can do something simple as this for now. And then I can just... do this. Alright, that's my improvisation. Very professional, non-improvised stream today. Alright, going into Cortex Castle, race 4. 19-point lead for Bapey squad at the moment. Anything can happen this early in, and it's not a huge difference, so we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to have to increase this yet again, and this. Alright, so starting off...
Get speakered.
Yeah, we're seeing yeah, Kaizoku getting taken out there. Seeing he does have a bomb, Orman getting masked, and he takes out Helad. So looking like, oh, Kaizoku's gonna get missiled again, so that's rough for him. We see that Tam and Shadow have broken away with it's looking like Tobin is the only French member up the front with them, so 2 against 1 there, which is a bit unfortunate for the member of the French team, but we'll see what they can do. Tam with a shield behind them, so Tam can put the pressure on. Meanwhile, in the back, we're seeing Kaizoku just finishing lap 1 in 5th place, just tailing one of his teammates. See Orman hot on his heels, though Kaizoku does pull a shield. So Tam losing her shield, but she has triple bombs, so a bit hard on Cortex Castle because the fire speed is absolutely barely slower than a bomb, to my knowledge. So it is pretty hard to get bomb snipes, but looks like Shadow successfully laid a trap that Tobin ran into, allowing Tam to combo. So they had a top 2, but looks like there's a clock now. So we'll see if this is enough to shift it into the French team's favor. Looks like one of the French team got taken out, so only Kaizoku was broken up into the top 2. We'll see whether he can take out Shadow here. Going wide to avoid the beaker, and definitely bombs Shadow right before the shortcut there. So nice job by Kaizoku there. So we see, even just by that small play there, Kaizoku's gained a very substantial lead. So while BS do have 2, 3, 4, which still is very good positions, Kaizoku has got a fierce grip on first here. Having a look, it's no one's drastically far behind. We do see the Cortex is a little behind, but nothing if your masks
No,
can't
Tan gets
stop.
masked.
Yeah, Tam getting masked by the engine here. So we see Tam losing her fire.
Oh
Not
no, Headlight hit a wall.
Oh, unfortunate for Helad there. So we see that Floxy, who masked Tam, also lost fire. So looks like that was Fedo, who is now pushing up into fourth. So Helad may have lost fire, but he is holding third. So it seems like currently first and fourth for the French team, and second and third for BS. We see Orman is in a French sandwich in the back there. He's in fifth with a French member in front and behind him, though looks like Floxy just got taken out, allowing Tam to pass them. And Shadow must have lost fire. Helad catching right up to him. Not team killing for points. I don't approve. So overall, bit of a chaotic Cortex Castle. I expected to see at least, you know, 2 or so people breaking away a bit with a shield. But no, we had a hectic race from lap 1 to 5. So finishing off, we had 1, 4, 5, 8 for the French team, and 2, 3, 6, 7 for BS. So not 100% on who's that's a win for. I'd say it's a 1-point win off just looking at the scores, but I couldn't tell you whose way. I will confirm that now. Could even be a 3-point. Alright. Okay, so it was a 1-point win, and it was for the French team. So getting a tiny bit of ground back. So 18-point difference now, going into race 5. Oh, I've gone to the wrong POV because I have a duplicate. This one. Alright, race 5 is Polar Pass, so Kaizoku well known for having insane TTs here. I believe he holds the world record now, perhaps. He might not hold it currently, but he has in the past. So not sure how many of BS know that, because I'm not sure how much many of them keep up with the world record scene, as demonstrated by my fantastic knowledge. But it is known about how good Kaizoku's lines are here, so we will see whether he will get an opportunity to break away, and if he does, unopposed, most likely. So Polar Pass can be a very, I mean, like many Blue Fires, as we saw with the clock on Cortex, any major hits right after Blue can completely change the positions of the race. Alright, starting race 5. See Tam and Orman here going tight alongside Kaizoku and Shadow. Looking like Helad being the one going wide here for BS. Gets an engine, which is pretty good on Polar Pass. Many people complain of suddenly losing reserves on Pass. Seeing a little bit of a split already. We're seeing Kaizoku and Shadow, it looks like, up the front. Oh, but Shadow messes up. Maybe hitting the seal, and Kaizoku bonking the wall, but it ultimately didn't matter because Shadow messed up himself. So Fortunate for Kaizoku there, actually, that he wasn't overly punished for the...
Oh no, Tam went over the blue fire pad.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. So going another lap with Yellow Fire, which is
And
substantially
there's
slower.
Orb.
Yeah, it's so amazingly Tam going over Blue Fire, but being in first. It's the new secret strat. Oh, though she team kills Shadow accidentally there. Shadow trying to
No.
pass and take Big Boy while Tam had a shield, and
Now Hella kills the Tam.
oh, bit of a
Oh my god.
Oh, and I think Kaizoku might have just team killed there. He missiled the let me double check the name. Missiled Tobin. So bit of a this is team kill central today. But Kaizoku gets an orb, so curious what he's going to be doing with this. Considering Helad.
Oh no, Hella lost fired.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Helad, but does mean that it's probably likely that Kaizoku could hold on to this, given that we have, I believe it's Floxy here passing now. So they'll be able to hold first, and we'll see whether Fedor is going to be able to get past Tam here and eventually catch up to Helad before he reaches Blue Fire again. So we see Kaizoku using the orb here, presuming Floxy has a shield in first, seeing as he didn't stop. Tam going over,
Oh, no.
surprisingly. Tam surprisingly going over Blue Fire without a shield. I didn't see if she lost it as she went over. But we see that Blue Fire is not agreeing with Tam on this track, so it's not wanting her to have it. But we do see Helad coming up into second here, so Floxy has a little bit of a lead, but it looks like Helad might be able to hold on to this second. Tam having a bit of a rough time there at the island jumps. Going wide here to get an item. We see in third Kaizoku with a mask coming through, cleaving a bit of a break here from everyone, looking like he's one of the few that has fire this lap. Orman being another one behind him.
Ooh.
Oh, doesn't get his jump input, but he manages to recover. We see Tam falling back to 7th with Tobin. Oh, hits a nitro behind the crate. So Tobin's going to be able to catch up now. And squishes Tam. So I think Tam was just worried that Tobin had something and just waited to let them pass. So we see that Floxy is finished. So that's a nice first place there by the French team. Tam in the back here, seeing if she's going to be able to get anything to catch up to Tobin, though it looks unlikely at this distance. Helad closing in the second, Kaizoku the third, Orman fourth. We'll see how these other positions change, and I was wrong. Looks like Tam does manage to catch up and pass Tobin, so very nice job there. Alright, so overall, looks like the French team got 1-3-5-8 and Bapey squad got 2-4-6-7. So I believe that's a win for the French team, but again, only a small one. So we'll update the scores shortly. Alright, so it's a 15-point difference now. So we will swap back to the other POV. Do just see. There we go. Alright, so at halftime, 15-point difference. So it's still not a massive difference. So it's been kept decently close this whole time. So we did see a couple of big wins here. BS with one extra big win compared to the French team. So hence the point difference. But even so, top 4 by the French team will immediately swing this back in their favour. Alright. Going into Slide Coliseum, interested to see whether any of the French team will be doing Pulsewood, SE Pulsewood I should say here. If not, Helad does have some very solid lines here, so we'll see whether he's able to use those to his advantage. And being Drift, he has a bit of an easier time with his reserves here, which does also help, especially in the pressure of a race, not having as much worry about your reserves. And we did see, I didn't see who subbed out, but I did see that Belletta's subbed back in for the French team. Alright, so starting off, looking like we're seeing quite a few people go tight here. Surprisingly, looking like Helad isn't in one of the top there. He's actually fallen back to the mid, so we're instead seeing Shadow being the one going really tight for BS, and Kaizoku not too far behind. So not too eventful at the start here. We have seen it's looking like Tam and Floxy in the back here, trying to get some good items. Tam with a juiced mask, which can be super good here, especially if she can get a juice canister to go with her. So we are seeing that actually Kaizoku doesn't have very many reserves, but he does have a canister in storage, so if he can get 10 Wampa here, he can actually start outspeeding Shadow, and while Shadow has a lead now, given this is early in the race, that's plenty of time for Kaizoku to catch up. Oh, Shadow with a nice bomb there on Belette there.
Ooh,
And then Helad with the...
It's just tackle.
Yeah, it looks like Helad with the shield tackle there, and an unjuiced all.
There's an item.
Yeah, so we went from a pretty quiet lap 2 to an absolutely chaotic start to lap 3. About 6 things happened at once.
That Shadow had a shield, but it doesn't really matter because he's still pretty ahead.
Yeah, with...
Unless another...
Yeah, exactly. With Slide Coliseum having no fire, it means that losing fire means you're not really losing much overall, because you don't have to wait for a turbo pad. Yeah, Helad, as you said, is now battling it out with Floxy for 4th, so looks like Helad did win the exchange, taking Floxy out and securing 3rd for now. So we are seeing a top 3 again by BS here on Slide. So we do see Kaizoku shooting a desperate missile there, but it doesn't reach Helad from that distance, unfortunately, especially not juiced. Orman in the back, looking like he might have a mask. So he's going to come up to the Polar here and take them out. We'll see whether he's going to take he takes Floxy out. We'll see whether he takes Kaizoku out as well. Probably not, given how long it's been, but we'll see.
If another power eye doesn't come out, looks like Bapey will have top 3 again.
Alright, Kaizoku going wide to dodge Orman's attempts to looking like squish him. Orman pulling a shield to save him from the missile. Unfortunate there for the French team, because if Kaizoku had have been able to hit Orman, it would have been a nice opportunity to combo him to make sure that they couldn't get the 1, 2, 3, 5, but... An overall very solid performance by BS there.
that would be what 18 points for now.
17, I reckon. I reckon it's a 17-point
17.
win. Yeah. So that's a very big win for BS there. And in the second half, that's exactly what you want, making it much harder for your opponents to catch back up. So we will see how the scores are looking after this. Bellet subbing in here with the 1 point there. Alright, so we do have a 32-point difference now, so not unrecoverable by any means. With a top 4, if your team gets top 4, it's a 19-point swing in your favor. So as much as, 2 top 4s is a big ask, it's not impossible. So we do have 4 races, so it's not like they need top 4s. They just need decent wins from now on. The French team have been getting some wins. The only issue is that the wins they have been getting have been fairly small. And at this stage, when you've only got 4 races left and you're down 32 points, you really need more than just, the 3-point wins they have been getting. They really need to go back to what they got in race 2, which I believe was a 7 or 9-point victory. Now, we do see Fedo has subbed out for Vendetta, and it is Electron Avenue, so not the best track to be wanting to get a big win against BS when you have people like Orman and Shadow in the team who are very proficient on this track. Now, I was hoping to swap to the other POV stream, but I've just been trying to fix Hellad's point of view. But if not, we have 2 gorgeous POVs that are functioning. Okay, I think I fixed Hellad's. So, ta-da, 3. Might be a bit of a delay on Hellad's side, because I've had to reset it, but we'll see how it is. That's pretty good, actually. So we'll see how we go at the start here. Tam saving a video clip at the start, so not getting a start boost. Falling off. Bit of an interesting strat there, not sure what she was going for. Looking at the start, we see Kaizoku and Orman neck and neck at the front here. Shadow not far behind, squishing Kaizoku. So Orman's got a little bit of a break, but it's only very slight currently.
Got shield tackled.
So we do have 2 BS in bottom 2 and top 2 at the start. So both good and bad, depending on whose POV you're looking at. So we'll see whether BS are going to be able to hold the top 2. Looking like Orman and Shadow do have a slight breakaway here. Though it's looking like the Polar, who I believe is Bellet, is not far behind. And we see Kaizuki with a nice slowdown there to squish Hellad.
And ends up getting hit by a Nitro.
See, bottom 2's not looking too hot for BS. Kaizuki hitting Hellad in one of the worst spots to be hit, where there's no fast fire to be gained for a short while. Because many places on this track you get hit and you don't lose too much time, because as you'll be able to see watching this, there's so many turbo pads and many of them give the fast fire. So there's not many spots you can get hit and lose a lot of time.
I mean, even so though, even if you do, I mean, like, still the worst spot to get hit is like at the big jump, because you lose so much time.
Exactly. Now, I have noticed that Tam does have an orb, unjuiced, which isn't really what she needs when her team's top 2, but coming up on the Wampa here, so we'll see whether Shadow and Orman are able to roll some shields so that she's not item locked, because being item locked on EA is so unfortunate, because There are so many item crates here that you can roll so many masks potentially, as we see Kaizoku just do to help catch back up. So Tam being item locked can actually be a bit rough for her to try and catch back up. So not too much happening in the back here. We do see Kaizoku with the mask here, but it doesn't look like, other than him rolling some masks, there's not too much happening. He skips his teammates very deftly there with a nice corner cut. But the French team are very closely bunched together here. And we see that BS are quite spread out, very far ahead and decently far behind. So looking like Orman and Shadow aren't having any luck rolling shields. Kaizoku losing his to a tight nitro before the second tunnel. So just having a look through the minimap, we can see that it's looking like the gap is definitely I'd say it's slowly increasing. Although with Kaizoku bonking there, he was making some good headway, but unfortunately going a little too tight on that hairpin. Looking like Shadow is overtaking Orman there, so not sure if Orman has lost fire, but Kaizoku unfortunately hitting the electric fence. Letting us going wide so he doesn't squish his teammates, which is a good call. We see Tam catching up and passing Belette, who seems to have lost fire. Hellad right behind, who can hopefully combo, and he does. He hits Belette with missiles, but Belette had a mask. And Hellad drives into the nitro.
No.
That's unfortunate for him. He tried to dodge, but I think he did mess up. We see Kaizoku with another shield, so seeming like Kaizoku's not having an issue rolling shields, but top two certainly are. So, Kaizoku losing another shield here, and Hellad falling off of the shortcut, which is really unfortunate. So Hellad is now incredibly far behind, so much so that there's not really much that he can do to catch up here. Even with Tam's power item, I feel like he'd need to chain quite a few masks to be able to catch up and get some positions, but it's not impossible, especially with how long this track is. Looks like Shadow might have hit something. He did slow down quite substantially there, and Orman has caught up to him, so not sure whether he's hit a trap of some sort. We do see not too much happening, as we were saying before. We've got three of the French team very closely bunched together here in 3-4-5. Shadow and Orman are just really far away here. Not really much the French team can do, which is really unfortunate for them. Hellad being in 8th with a clock and Tam being in 7th with an orb means that there's just nothing that the French team can do to knock top 2 out, because the 2 power item spots are taken up and they have power items. So interesting to see whether they're going to use the orb here, which does take out Kaizoku, because Orman and Shadow have finished. So we'll see if it's enough to get any positions, but Kaizoku hitting the fence here, but Tam falling off, so a bit of an unfortunate end for both Kaizoku and Tam there, which meaning no positions were changed from those power items. Bit of a hectic finish.
If Hairlight probably would have used the clock a little bit sooner, I think the Tam would have been fine.
Yeah, I think a big issue was she managed to hit Kaizoku with the orb, but then she couldn't capitalize on it too much because she immediately lost fire to the clock. So that maybe there was better timing that could have been used for those 2 power items, but it's hard to say with the limited POVs we have.
Yeah, but still, that's still like a small win for BS, right?
Oh yeah, of course. So that's a +3 for BS here. So that means the point difference should be 35, I believe. So overall we saw BS with 1-2-7-8 and the French team with 3-4-5-6. And yeah, 35 point difference now. So now we're starting to get into crunch time for the French team. We see Floxy subbing out, so they're organising their lineup. Maybe they have someone better equipped to deal with Gingerbread. We're unsure, but we see Tobin jumping back in, and Fedo is in as well. So it seems like they are really swapping in and out depending on what tracks they're confident on, which is a good strategy. Hopefully it'll be enough swapping for these final 3 tracks to give them the advantage they need. And I swapped the wrong POV again. I'm going to move that away. We've got some interesting tracks to finish off this war. We've got Gingerbread Joyride. I personally really enjoy Joyride. It's a very interesting track to watch in a war. I find, at least on this channel, whenever we've had Joyride come up, it's been an incredibly chaotic one.
It's just because there's cookies everywhere. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing else it could be. It's the cookie track, and you're the one known for power items.
If there isn't any power item, then I'm disappointed.
Is it really Mushy Joyride without power items?
I mean, it does happen.
Yeah. Very rare when you're around, though. And again, Hellhead stream with the funky issues, but it's fine. We fixed. Alright. Brace 8 of 10. So we see Kaizoku getting a nice bomb on Shadow there at the very start, just before Blue Fire, so he ended up losing fire himself and falling a little behind and not getting an item, but doesn't seem to have harmed him too much so far. We see, looks like a French team, 2 of the French team getting taken out there by Hellad and Tam. So now Kaizoku's the only one up there and he's being chased by a missile. Tam with the early shield. So we see Kaizoku doing a nice small bit of slowdown there to take out Hellad. Gets him in a really awkward spot, so Hellad losing quite a few spots there. Orman right behind though takes Kaizoku out. So Tam's got a very nice breakaway here, so we'll see how she goes with this. Having a shield with this far of a break, she could honestly play safe and she should be fine.
Titans are hitting a beaker, so now he's going back.
Yeah, getting a super engine though does really help, because it's so unfortunate when someone loses fire, goes back for fire and immediately loses it again. So we'll see if he can come back from this. We do see BS with the top 3 here. Oh, Kaizoku, unfortunate, going too tight on the shortcut there. If you go too tight there, you can get caught on the little lip of the gingerbread, I think it is, or waffles, I can't really tell. So unfortunately this means that Kaizoku's going to be quite far behind as he doesn't have the fast fire everyone else seems to have. So looking at the board, we do see as still BS with the top 3 here, though we've got 2 of the French team not very far behind Shadow and Hellad there. Orman's kind of in his own little world there in 6th, as is Tobin.
Oh, Hellad!
Hellad getting taken out. Hellad getting taken out, does pop his shield on so that he doesn't get hit on the way, and
he gets another shield.
And he rares by getting a second one. Alright, so we see that Margin ended up hitting something which allowed Hellad to catch up and combo, and
Kai had the clock.
Oh, we see that's what ended up taking Shadow out, it seems, because Shadow's now being passed up, and looking like I believe Feddo is the Papu, taking into second there. Orman and Hellad with fire though, so they can help recover the positions that Shadow's losing from this clock. Meanwhile, Tam lost her shield, but again, with such a huge lead and final lap, as long as she plays safe, she should be fine. And we see Kaizoku has gained a lot of ground, but he is still substantially behind, and with only a lap to go, you do worry whether he's going to be able to make the ground if he doesn't roll enough masks. He is pretty close now, though, to at least Shadow. And we see Tam, yeah, reaching the jellies, clutching out first there, so nice job by Tam. Hellad,
Oh no!
oh, I think
As soon as his mask ran out, he hit it.
that's so unfortunate for Hellad. So dropping from, I think he was in 4th, just getting comboed. Shadow accidentally team killing, but it doesn't matter at this point. Kaizoku has unfortunately had his race ended, so he's just vibing in 8th there. So a bit of a very chaotic one actually. So we do see Tam with the first, and then for the rest of BS it's 3rd place, 6th and 7th, whereas the French team got 2, 4, 5, 8. So I do again believe that is a small win for BS, but whether it's a 3-point win, I'm not 100%.
If it's a 3-point win, then the French team needs to have like at least 2 top 4s.
That's the thing with this victory. If it's any more than 3 points, if it's a 5-point victory, then that means that the French team mathematically cannot win overall. Seeing as the highest point difference they can get from 2 races is 38. But if it's a 3-point win, then they will just casually need to get 2 top 4s to tie. But we'll see. We'll see where the scores ended up here. Yep, yeah, it was a 3-point victory. So that leaves a 38-point lead for BS right now. And as I was saying, that means that in order to tie BS, the French team are going to need 2 top 4s.
Very, very unlikely, but it can still happen, but still very unlikely.
Exactly. They're not like the best that can happen at this point for the French team that we can hope for is a tie. But it's going to take an insurmountable effort to get 2 top 4s, considering for the most part top 4s in general are very hard to come by when you're in a pretty similarly matched lobby at the very least. So we'll see how this one goes.
It usually happens like in the beginning of the wars, which is like funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. You do commonly see it where one team just gets completely obliterated lap 1, the other team break away, and then they eventually roll shields and they're set. So we're going into Jongleboge. So we'll see. It's a very chaotic track. So we'll see. It could very well become a top 4 for either team. It's a very hard track to kind of say because you can have incredible lines here, but it's such a short, chaotic track that everyone dies. Alright, so starting off, looking like we're seeing all the POVs are going tight here, so we'll see if any of them manage to break through unscathed. So far looking like Kaizoku and Tam are on top of each other. Hellad losing fire and going wide for the Wampa.
And
We
with
see,
him.
yeah, 5th place with a mask there. Hellad getting beaked, Tam getting hit. So looking like it's Kaizoku here that's got a bit of a break with one of his teammates, so that's a very good thing to see. Though Marjin takes the TNT and blows up, which is unfortunate. So we see Orman taking into 2nd now, but he's got 2 of the French team right behind him. Oh, yeah, still two of them. He did take one out, but it seems like Marjin didn't fall too far behind. Shadow is right on their heels though, so we've got a bit of a cluster there. In fact, other than Kaizoku breaking quite away, it is a pretty decent cluster here. So Orman getting beaked, and we see him falling right back. Hellad almost TKing him with a mask, holding a 4th place mask, which is a bit sneaky of him, but he's only got his teammates ahead of him, so he might be holding this in case of an orb or a missile or something that comes his way. And we see that 1st and 3rd have shields, and Hellad
No,
bonking.
Hellad lost.
He puts on his mask just to make sure that our Marjin behind him doesn't catch and hit him. Gains fire back. Meanwhile, looks like Tam managed to take out Kaizoku. So really unfortunate for the French team here. They did have some good positions in the middle of the race. We'll see what Kaizoku can do here. Bit unfortunate they're taking out Marjin.
Bapey squad has top 3.
They do.
Norman
So
hit something.
Orman may have hit something, but it looks like his lead is substantial enough. Hellad and Tam are so far ahead, they secure top 2 here. So with that, this is now a guaranteed BS victory. So little unfortunate for the French team, but they have played their very best. And we do, of course, have one race left, but it's still GG's to everyone.
GG's to everyone.
They did manage to, we do see that they did manage to get Shadow into last at the very least to try and minimize that point difference, but as we saw, it was another top 3 there, so it was a close first half, and then it seems like BS have gotten some wind in their sails in this second half, and they've really taken off. So we'll see where things are looking now. Now we've got... It takes me a little longer to do scores with subs because I've got quite a few names to sift through. Also, I have no brain, so that contributes. Alright, scores are done. So it is, as you will soon see, a 49-point difference so far. So we'll see what the final scores are going to end up being. We do see Fedo coming back in for Tobin here. Unsure if there were any other subs while I was doing the scores, but that was the only one I've seen. And looking at the lineup, it looks like the only sub out so far. We'll see who the other person joining is, though. So yeah, so far it was very well played by both teams. Very first war between the French team and Bapey squad, and so far it's been a... Oh, we see Floxy subbing in here. And as we've seen, it has ended up by race 9 in a victory for BS. So GG's to both teams, and we'll see how this final race pans out. So we've got Oxide Station coming up, so a track that Orman and Tam are both, from what I've seen, pretty consistent in, so we'll see whether either of them are going to be able to break away. But again, we've seen some very good lines from Kaizoku on his point of view, and I'm sure the other French team members do have good lines themselves, so I wouldn't count any of them out. Alright. Going into our final race here, let's see how many people get lap glitched. For those who are unaware, there is a ramp right after where you get blue fire, where if you fall off it the wrong way, you can get a lap glitch where you basically miss a few checkpoints, according to the game. So it does set you back quite a bit. So we'll see if that happens to anyone. But starting off, we do see Kaizuki with a bit of slowdown there to squish Orman, but unfortunately pays the price for slowing down by getting taken out there. We see Tam and Shadow, Tam and Shadow were on top of each other, but it did cause Tam to lose fire with a bit of a kart collision there. Looking like Margin Vendetta is in second, I believe that is. Right between Shadow and Tam. We do see Hellad in fourth here, third on his screen. And then we see a bit of a backpack here between Feddo, Orman, and Kaizo. We see Shadow's got a little bit of a break now. It's very small, but it's starting. And
Tam ends up getting the Megumi.
So nice job by Tam there, taking out Vendetta. So now it is a top 3 early on for BS. But we do see that Orman coming through the mask to take out potentially take out Feddo, which would put Feddo in the back, enabling him to roll some power items, which would seemingly hit Shadow and Hellad at the moment. Tam does have a shield though, so she seems pretty set herself. So having a look, we're just getting to the blue fire pad lap 2, and we can see that top 3 do have a bit of a break, but it looks like Floxy is not far behind. And then we have Feddo and Orman a little far back from there. And then bringing up the rear, we do have Vendetta and Kaizo. Kaizo just trying not to hit Vendetta with his masks, but does bonk the wall for it. Really unfortunate. So unfortunate for Kaizoku, he might fall a bit further behind here. We see that Shadow has lost fire. Seemingly a wall bonk, which is going to allow Floxy to catch up and potentially take him out. Meanwhile, we do see Hellad with a shield. Tam has lost hers. We do see Tam doing a good job there, just holding that first with quite a big lead. And we see Vendetta shooting an orb here right after Orman crosses
There's 2
through.
orbs.
Oh, a counter, another orb. No one is safe. So looking like this could be a bit of a turnaround. We will see. If anyone kept fire with the double orb there. So looking like Kaizoku, of course, holding fire given his distance from the pack. We'll see whether he's able to catch up with this and wreak some havoc. But it doesn't look like anyone has fire now except for Kaizoku. So might be the opportunity he was looking for. He does take out Vendetta, but Vendetta didn't have fire, and it was better than him compromising his lines and potentially losing fire himself in his eyes, I believe. So we see that he's passed all the way up into 5th now. He did try and take Orman out in the spiral, but he did miss. Getting a bit of a dicey pass there on his teammate who had a shield.
Oh no, Tam hit the nitro.
Tam getting hit on the pad that can lap glitch you, but she did not get lap glitched because you can see that she has kept the same position she had. If she had been lap glitched, she would have dropped right down immediately from first. So we see that it's only Hellad that has taken a spot there, but Tam losing fire again, and Kaizoku getting a bomb there. So Kaizoku with the redemption arc here. And as I say that, he unfortunately hits the wall. I feel like I cursed him a little there. Even so, he has taken out Tam, who's behind him, and it looks like it's only Floxy who could pass him right there. So Kaizoku's still putting in some good work there from what we could see on stream. And getting a pretty decent range snipe on Tam there with a bomb, so very nice work by Kaizoku. Looking forward, we see Hellad has a very large lead here, so I believe that position is safe. Until he DC'd.
Tam ends up killing Vendetta with a turbo canister, and she died. Okay.
So a bit of chaos in the back, and as much as Hellad had a big lead, he DC'd right on lap 5. So
oh no,
it looking like Floxy's going to catch him, but Kaizoku losing fire means he might not actually catch Helad. Well, Fedo might though. Well, bit of a gap, but it did allow the French team to take first. So we're looking, and oh, looks like Helad's bot barely clutched second there. Having a look at the times, yeah, 0.01 difference. So a bit of a chaotic race to end there. Had a billion power items, we had collisions, we had deaths, we had wall bonks, and then we had a DC to end it off. So I will just adjust the final scores now. Put that back. Alright. So we saw a bottom 3 actually in that final race for BS. So Helad's bot being the only one of BS to get in the top 5 actually. So an interesting sight to see. Alright, so we get a nice win there by Floxy and Vendetta with the 4 points. Alright, so we've got people ending their streams. So the final point difference ended up being 38. It was an 11-point victory at the end there, so very nice job by the French team to bring it back just a little bit at least, with a nice decisive 11-point victory there. So GG's to both teams. It was really nice to watch. Yeah, it was really nice to watch. Not as close as our previous commentary, of course. That was an incredibly close match, but was still a very good one. And the first half in particular was particularly tight. So we'll see if a rematch happens in the future. Let's see how it pans out. But I think both teams there both had their hiccups, as we saw. We saw a few hiccups from members on both sides, but we saw some fantastic plays from members on both sides. So this one was a bit of a all over the place war actually, but as Brownie or Azzy in chat says, yeah, Tam did really well. So I can't comment for yeah, I can't comment for the French team, but Tam and Shadow in particular have very minimal 4v4 experience. So part of the reason we've been trying to get more going is so that they can get some practice going, and it's really great to see them not only getting practice, but thriving when they do it. And thank you for the raid, Tam. I do see the little inception there on screen. I think I have a... But yeah, it was a very great one, actually. Usually I would, have a little after-party chat. Not sure if I'll have a too big of a one this time, but it was a really fun one to watch, and I thank you for joining me on the commentary bench, Mushi. So I am just having a quick squiz for someone to raid. It's looking like there's an FFA going on that I will send us to. So this was a very, very impromptu. This is a very impromptu stream. I had no plans to do commentary, hence why it's a little rushed and I'm very tired. But I was very keen to commentate this one. I kind of felt like it on a whim. So thanks to everyone who stuck by and endured me rambling at 3 AM. It was a really fun one. Next time we get a war, I'll see if I can commentate that one as well. Maybe Mushi can join me again in the future.
I hope so.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna send you guys to Karma. People in this community, who frequent the community, I should say, do know him for, you know, pretty insane player, insane TTs, insane in races. For those who don't know, an Italian player. Been playing for a long time now, so he's doing an FFA. I have no idea how far in they are or who's in it, but go say hi. So thanks everyone, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Guys.